Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 109 by the Assembly Committee on Budget, an act relating to criminal justice realignment, making an appropriation therefore, and declaring the urge thereof to take effect immediately, bill related to the budget.
Mr. Leno.
Thank you, Madam President. So, colleagues, we have before us a very exciting opportunity. This is to review and realign the way we deal with our criminal justice system. I think we can all acknowledge we have a failed, very expensive system currently. We've seen the general fund spending on corrections double from about 5% of our general fund to now 11% in just the past 8 years. And we still have a recidivism rate that has grown from 67 to 70%, twice the national average. And when you look at why is it we have that sky-high recidivism rate, it's not surprising when you recognize that about 70% of our inmates, as they are released, are functionally illiterate. About the same percentage leave our prison system with a drug or alcohol problem. They are virtually unemployable without job skills, job training, or any preparation to enter into their communities as they return home. We can do much better, and that's the proposal before us. So there are three components to this public safety realignment. The first is the realigning of low-level offenders. The second is parole realignment. And the third is juvenile justice realignment. So taking them one by one, with regard to the realignment of low-level offenders, now we are talking specifically about nonviolent, non-serious, non-sex offenders. And additionally, there's now, as a result of the February adjustments that the administration has made to the proposal, there is a list of a couple of dozen additional crimes that will be excluded from this realignment, and that's out of public safety concerns. So first, it will remove tens of thousands of inmates from state prison and will, by doing so, reduce overcrowding. In fact, once fully implemented by 2014, we expect to see 38,000 fewer state inmates, which is approaching the 40,000 that the federal court has told us that they will release if we do not take action. So this should be looked kindly upon by that federal court. As a result, we will also cut $2 billion out of the Department of Corrections budget. No small accomplishment. The realignment will allow local governments to use more effective ways, proven ways, to keep our communities safer and to keep those who are re-entering on the straight and narrow and able to succeed in their lives. For example, if someone has a drug or alcohol problem, currently when they fail their parole, we send them back to state prison at a cost of about $50,000 a year. And guess what? We're not dealing with the problem, which is a drug or alcohol problem. At the local level, locals, with the funding we will be providing, will be able to invest in a variety of different programs to get to the core of the problem and to make sure that this individual will not continue to fail and will not recidivate, but will be able to move forward successfully. And that would be with intensive community-based supervision or drug and alcohol treatment, all of which costs significantly less than the $50,000 a year we are squandering just warehousing individuals. With regard to the parole realignment, we now have a duplication of efforts. We've got the state involved with the parole of former felons coming out of state prison. We have the probation officers in our counties dealing with those who are coming out of jail and are on probation. The state will retain responsibility for the supervision of the most serious and violent offenders, such as high-risk sex offenders and third strikers. But otherwise, we would follow the success of something we all created just a couple years ago, and that was through SB 678. We created a community corrections program. We initiated the programs with some front-end financing, which came from a one-time stimulus benefit from the federal government, about $40 million. And I'm happy to report, I hope you're all paying attention, that in the first year of this program, we were able to keep 4,000 failed probationers from even coming into our state prison system. Keep in mind that the largest component of new inmates in our system each year, 40% of new inmates, are failed felony probationers coming from the county because they failed their probation in the county, coming into our system. So within 1 year, we knocked off, 40,000 inmates each year. That's 20%. We knocked off a full 10% in the first year. So that's a huge accomplishment, and we shared the savings with the counties, so that $40 million initial federal investment is now growing to about $59 million in state savings to continue and augment the successful programs that kept those 4,000 failed felony probationers from even getting to the system here in the state because they didn't fail. They succeeded in their probation. That's what the parole realignment will replicate. And then lastly, with the juvenile justice realignment, again, as a result of the amendments made by the administration in their February statement that the counties would continue to have the option to send serious juvenile offenders to state facilities. Keep in mind, we have reduced our juvenile population in state facilities from around 10,000 down to a remaining about 1,600. This would allow for the counties to contract with the state for their most challenging wards to be able to use state facilities for them. But this will be, again, more effective. They'll be able to, where they can, invest in juvenile justice systems at the local level and with a greater likelihood of rehabilitation and far less costly. We are spending $200,000 per year per ward, and these kids are not getting the education that we legally are responsible to give them. They are being warehoused, and we're incubating future criminals by denying them that which their youth really is deserving of. This is a great proposal, and it's one that's long in coming, and I would ask for your support.
Discussion members, Senator Harman.
Thank you, Madam President. With all due respect to the chairman of the Budget Committee who says it's a great proposal, I would simply tell you in truth it's a very poorly thought out proposal. It takes tens of thousands of so-called low-level offenders and diverts them to our county jail system throughout the state. Let me give you a few examples of what I'm talking about, the type of crime. Conspiracy to commit a crime against the president, vice president, governor, or any U.S. justice or judge or secretary of any of the executive departments of the United States government. That's a low-level crime. Person that does that, attempts that, or in a conspiracy to do that, would be considered a low-level crime. Participation in the act of lynching someone is a low-level crime. Hate crimes are a low-level crime. Exploding a destructive device or committing arson at a health facility, church, abortion clinic, bookstore, courthouse, goes on and on. Low-level crime. Now, members, what happens when they go to county jail and when they come out? Let's say there's a violation. They do not go on parole. They go on probation. Now, as you know, parolees, if they violate their parole officer can what's called violate them, and they wind up back in state prison very, very quickly, oftentimes within a few days. On the other hand, if one of these individuals that is participating in the new program described in this bill called the Post-Release Supervision Program, the only way they can be violated is to go before a judge and have a hearing. Now, our courts are already, as all of us know, badly congested with overwork both on the civil side and the criminal side. The best estimate that we could get from our staff is that there would probably be a need for approximately 15,000 new hearings to hear alleged violations of the post-release supervision provisions of this bill. And by the way, let me hold the bill up. Here it is. It's 663 pages. Let me double check that. 663 pages long. It has not had a policy hearing in this House. I think it's premature for us to make these major changes in the way we conduct public safety in this state. It is a bad bill, and I would urge a no vote.
Senator Woke.
Thank you, Madam President and members. I rise today to request your support of the first of what will be 2 bills and a constitutional amendment, which is an historic effort to realign or transfer services to the local level. This legislation begins the process, and we hope will fulfill the governor's promise to bring government closer to the people. But why do it? Why do it at all? We need to do it because California is not where we want it to be in terms of the outcomes, in terms of public safety, not to mention mental health, child welfare, and many other needs. We simply aren't succeeding at the way we do business now. So it's not just about money. The scale of our state has not permitted us to allow for diversity, variation, innovation, or creativity. The Senate committee that was formed on governance and finance with Senator Huff as vice chair has had numerous hearings on realignment. Senator Huff and I have put in writing that we need to move the state toward better performance and value for the services that go to the citizens. And this is the beginning of that effort. For the first time in the constitutional amendment, when we get to it, there is language which will promote best practices and the delivery of effective and efficient services. And these can't be just words. We need to deliver on that change. The constitutional amendment, when we get to it, will speak to giving local agencies maximum flexibility and control over the design, administration, and delivery of public safety services. The budget bill also has similar language. The counties and other states and some cities are already doing this in the area of public safety and others with more success and better results. The counties and law enforcement have been partners, willing partners, and supportive partners in this effort. We should reward that partnership and that support. They are very wary, but they are willing. We need to get out of their way. We need to let go and let this happen. The legislation sets the direction, and there will be hard work of implementation over the next 3 to 6 months that will seal the deal. Because at the end of the day, people want to know that they're getting value for their money, that what we do results in some better outcome for the citizens, that they are safer, that there is better treatment, that they are protected. They aren't right now. And this is an effort in conjunction, in partnership with the counties and law enforcement to make that happen. We need to improve the trust that people have in their government. I ask for your aye vote on the first of important realignment and historic realignment efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Woke.